Hello, welcome to Chapter 11. Chapter 11, we're going to talk about managing object with data dictionary view. Let me go to the next slide and right here. In this slide, this is the Oracle server right here, and we as a user, we are creating a table such as employee, department, location, job history, and so on. When we're creating a table is the side that the user creates, but Oracle server creates some other information which is put the those information about the table that we're creating. You're going to store it some location, which those location we call it data dictionary. Those data dictionary, they are such as dictionary, user object, user table, user column table. There are much more data dictionaries such as CAD, user tables, user table, user objects. There are many different forms of data dictionary. What is contained in those data dictionary? Let's go to a simple example. I'm going to right here copy this one and go back right here, describe user tables. And when I'm going to execute this option, you're going to see the user table. It is a table with two columns. One column is with this many columns. For any object that we're creating, it's going to put some resources about that object or that table that we're creating in this data dictionary user tables. Now, let's consider I'm going to create a simple table. Well, let's say, let's see. I'm going to try to find out all the column. Select asterisk from user tables. This is a data dictionary. And in this user table, you're going to see that we have table name, which is such as department, employee, employees, imp, dipt, sal grade, dummy, job grade, and naming. These are all the tables. So in fact, in DE54A11 account, there is 16 objects currently. And this is the information about that object. Those objects which exist in DE54A11 account. Let me go ahead and create a dummy table. I'm going to say create table test I. Let's consider this number. The size of the number is 2 digits, and I'm going to close it with a semicolon or without any semicolon. Well, the first I'm going to see the table test that currently exists. So let me go ahead, drop the table test. Be careful when you're dropping a table, it won't be exist anymore. Okay, and you cannot we can take it back, but I recommend you be careful, do not drop the tables such as department, location, or region, those tables which currently exist in your schema or in your account. Let's go ahead and execute this one. See, you're going to say the first option, drop the table test, and second option is create the table test. Now I'm going to the user table and selecting asterisk from user tables and try to see what information I can get about my table test. Okay, the table test created, the account that created the table is in table space I-20. You don't need to know those, but the status of table is valid. Let's consider see what you're going to store those information. You're going to store it in table space, which is ITSE 2354. So you're going to store those in table information in that specific location, and you're going to give you description and definition about some other feature related to this table in data dictionary user object. And if you going to see the table test is created right now, let's see the last analyze, we didn't analyze that table, but store the information related to this table right here, as you're going to see. These are all the features available for the table test. Let's go to another data dictionary, user object. I'm going back to user object and try to look at see what I have in user object related to my test. User object, I have a table such as test. Object ID is this one. It's 56633, and I'll try to find out the date that I create this one. This object table test created is September 1406, mean current date, and the last DDL times also is September 14. The table is valid. The table is some other features such as none and valid status. We're going to see, by the way, the table type is table. Let's go ahead and look at some other option. Select asterisk from cat. And anyway, the same way you're gonna is information available in cat. We're gonna see that table test exists right here, and it is a table. So if I'm going back to my slide right here, when I create a table test or employee or department, this is the user side of it that I create a table. Oracle server automatically create a data dictionary and store information related to that table in data dictionary, in user object, user table columns, and CAD, user table, and user object. So you're going to store all those information in the data dictionary. Let's go to the next slide. Next slide again consists of the base table, use, access, and view. Okay, we already spoke about this one. Let's go to other. Data dictionary view naming convention. We have users tables, we have user all tables, we have DBA, and we have $. The user normally is the portion that users have access. By definition, user view, what is in your schema, in your account, what you own, like table test, like table employee, like table department, all other objects that you as a user have access. So you're going to store in the view prefix such as all. And DBA is the higher privilege, which is database administrator can view about a table. And $sign is another view, data dictionary view, which is performance related data. You're going to find those information. As already correctly we described in data dictionary. And let's go ahead and look at select asterisk from data dictionary, from dictionary, where my table name is equal to user object. If you notice right here, when we're describing dictionary consists of two columns. One of them is table name, the other is comments. So you're going to store the information about a table in user object. And if let's consider, I think we execute the user object, so I'm not going and user object when the table name is user object. Let me go back right here. I'm going to put another example, put a where clause, where table name, where table, right here, table name equal to test. When you create an object and you try to search for that object in database, you have to put the string in uppercase. You may create a table in lowercase, but when you try to search for that one, you have to use it the uppercase. So let's put it this way: all the object that we created, put it in the database in uppercase, object, not the column, not the text column and table. No, only object names such as table view. Now if I'm going to do a search for the test, you're going to see only going to bring the table, which is table name is test, and table type also is table. Let's go ahead and execute this data dictionary. Select asterisk from data dictionary where table name is user object. You notice the user object is in the uppercase. See right here, I may go execute two different things. I'm going to say describe user objects, but when I try to search him for user object in the data dictionary, I have to put him in the uppercase. See, let's see, execute this one, and you're going to see this is the object name. Okay, this is the user object, which is the first option, and didn't execute my second one, so let me execute the second one. And let's go next page, and next page user object, which is defining the user object owned by user. So all your information, all the object that you're creating, such as view, sequence, synonym, it's going to be stored in user object area. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, user object, as we said, we have a prefix such as user, we have a prefix such as all object, user object. These are all objects that you have access. This is the example that I did it a while ago for you. Select asterisk from, I did select asterisk from user object. Right here you're going to pick up only 1 column, 2 column, 3 column, 4 column, and this is really what you need. Normally you know that the table exists and is created at the what date, and the status of that table is valid. Valid means accessible. Another one is user table. I execute this option for you all too. The other type of data dictionary, when we create a table, we may put in some constraints such as primary key, foreign key, check key in a table. Those information is stored in some other area, which some other area of data. Let's put it. Let me take my word back. Put it in another data dictionary, which that data dictionary we call it user table columns. And also there is another user data dictionary which is user table columns. And let me go look at user constraint column. This is a data dictionary. This is another data dictionary, which is store those information separately in each of them. Let me go to previous slide, and already we look at the user table column. Describe the user table column. It's going to show you that data dictionary user table tab columns containing let's say rows such as table name, containing field of a row such as table name, column name, data type, and just name. Let's go next slide. In the next slide you're going to again go to the data dictionary and selecting the column name, data type, data length, data precision, and data scalar, and nullable from user table column. These are the information that if we execute in this one, it's going to bring us, let me highlight everything and go ahead to execute it in the right here in iSQL. As a result, when I'm going to executing this one, it's going to say employee table, data type is number, data links Oracle, this is something Oracle allocated, is 6, and also you're going to specify data precision, which is 6 digit, and a scalar, which is 0. Let me go ahead and change this one from employee to a table test. Oh, by the way, I have to put test in uppercase. I'll put table in the uppercase test. Disregard my phone ringing. Table test. Execute this one, and here you go. Here I have a table test that we created a while ago. It has one column. The column name is, we name it I. The data type is number. The data length, which is generated by Oracle automatically, is 22, and data precision is 2 digit. If you remember, we create the table with 2 digit. In fact, we create a table, we said create table, we said create table test, and I put I number 2 digit, and I close it. So I create a table such as test with this size. Now this table, you're going to see this 2-digit, I'm sorry, right here 2. This 2 is interpreted right here. There is no null column in this. Null column is yes. It means I did not specify any field that it must be put data onto that one. I'll show you another example. And the scalar is 0. I did not specify, for example, 2, 3. Let me try this example, and I'm going to put right here not null. This is a good example. So I'm going to drop my table test. Let's name here this. I'm going to name it XXX, and I recreate that table test, and asking to create the table test. And let's consider I'm going to execute all these 3 together and searching for data dictionary in this option 2. Now let's execute, drop the table test, recreate the table test, and try to find out what information input in the data dictionary user table column in data dictionary. I'm going to execute this, and okay, create table test. I asking to drop table test. So let me go ahead, copy this one, hold it back, and asking drop table test. Table test drop. Now I'm going to put those information back and asking to execute it now. Okay, create table test. I have some problem with the table test. Well, let's say create table test XX number. Okay, this is wrong. This should be 5.3, not no. Let's execute that one again, and table did it. Okay, well, let me go ahead, drop table test. Well, you can put semicolon here, or don't put in semicolon. It is not important very much. Okay, right here, let's remove this one. Let's remove this one and create it. And right here, let's go search the table test. See, this time it create for us the table test. And if you notice, we put the precision 5-digit, and we put 3 of those 5-digit is fraction. Okay, let's go to next. Next option is going to be constraint information, the data dictionary user constraint column. This is another data dictionary. Normally it show up what type of constraint you have. Let's go ahead example do in this example. In this example, we try to find all the constraints available in the table such as employee. We're going to execute in this one for 2 options. One, we're going to looking for all the constraints for employee table. Also, we're going to look at all the constraints available in the table test that we create. Let's execute this one. I hope it won't complain this time. Okay. The constraint on the table employee, you're going to see that we have employee last name not null. There is a constraint and is active. There is a foreign key constraint available and is active. There is a check constraint in the employee salary, minimum salary, and it should be greater than 0. Let's go to the next table. I'll let you all to look at this one in your book. There is a similar example like that one in your book. But let's go to the table test that we create. Table test, if I'm going to see the table test, next page. There you go. The table test that I put it, create a table test. And we said the column XXX is not null. That's what we said. We didn't give him a constraint name. Oracle automatically create for us a constraint name and name it sys C007663, and the status of this table is valid. We didn't put any other information related to table test. We didn't ask him for check key, primary key, or let's say foreign key. But a table such as employee, which you're gonna have all those features, we can see it. Let's consider I'm going to remove my table test and execute, and now you can understand better that tables such as employee has different constraint, which is one of the constraint name is employee last name NN not null, and that last name is not null, and not null, job ID is not null, and salary it should be, with a check constraint, should be greater than 0. Let's go to next one. This constraint that we use the user constraint, and the other one that we use, well, it is the user constraint column. This user constraint is on general constraint about the table. This one, user column constraint, is going to define the constraint that you put it in each separate column, and it's going to give you a column name and the constraint that you put it. Again, I'm going to copy this one and compare with the table test that we created. So I'm going to put this one right here. And why it didn't copy the right screen? Okay, let's copy this one only, and I'm going to bring it right here, paste it right there, and I'm going to copy this one and changing this one also to table test that we create, and we're going to execute this one. Now, employee table, email, unique key, these are let's say a structure that Oracle recommends you give a constraint name a meaningful format. Let's say there are some rules and regulations that your book asks you to follow up those rules to create a name convention, to create a constraint name. This name convention normally you're going to find in the table, follow up by the column, follow up by type of the constraint you're putting, unique key, table, column which is salary, and constraint which is the minimum salary. This is the format that your book suggests you to use that format. Let's go and look at our table test. One more time, table test. And here is our table test again, XX, and we don't have anything, just this is a column, and we did not any specific definition for this column. That's the reason we're not going to see anything else. So this is user constraint, user constraint column. We spoke about this one too. Describe user view. This is another data dictionary, user view, and also we have select text from user view, where view name, employee, describe view. These are some also information when you're creating a view. You can access those information in your view. Now let's go consider right here. I'm going selecting this option and try to see do we have any view in our user object. Currently there is no view. Now let's consider I'm going creating a view. Create view test 1 as select asterisk from test. I'm going creating a view. Okay, I misspelled the test. Okay, let's look at right here. Okay, let's see, can you find any view? No view. Always in double column you're going to give me describe test 1. See if the object test 1 exists. No, it doesn't exist. So create view test 1 as select asterisk from test. Okay, insufficient privilege. Let me set up the privilege and allow you to execute this feature. let output this instruction. I don't have the privilege. I have to allow you to create a privilege, and then we can go cover the rest of this chapter.